family. Grace and peace. It's Terrence Frederick, Kingdom Media Foundation. Hey, I just had something real quick I wanted to share with you. When I pulled up at the bank and I parked in the parking lot, and when I parked into the parking lot, I saw I was aligned in my own lines, but when I looked over at the car next to me, I felt like I was crooked. I felt like I was off. But really what it was the car itself, the car was off. So that car was parked crooked. And from my perspective, when I looked at that vehicle, I felt like I was off because that vehicle was off. But when I looked in my own lane, I was straight. And I just wanted to encourage you, whenever you're measuring yourself, measuring who you are, where you are, measuring your proximity to greatness, don't ever look at another vehicle. Don't ever look at another thing that's parked. But what you have to do is you have to look at where you are with what he gave you to do. You have to look at the objectives he's given you. You have to look at the vision he's given you. You have to look at the things that he's already placed in you, and you have to measure where you are in line with what he gave you to do. Because a lot of times we get mixed up into looking at other things and trying to determine and measure where we are in Christ or where we are in our growth and maturity, but we're looking at other vehicles and how they're parked. It's not anything deep, but it's something just to remind us that some people measure themselves and compare themselves by themselves. But our standard for comparison and measuring is Christ. But it's not just Christ, an ideal Christ, but it's Christ in you, the hope of glory. So Christ in you is speaking to you. Christ in you is directing you. Christ in you is giving you specific instructions for your life, for your mandate, for things that you need to accomplish. And if we stay in our lane and look how we are measuring up in our own boundaries, in our own metron, in our own space of grace, then we can truly do inventory and truly do a reckoning and bring ourselves into alignment and be on point with what he wants us to do. All right, so don't get so caught up looking at how other people are parked, how other people are measured up. Stay focused and fixed on your assignment. That's very important. So as you do that, you'll find out that a lot of times you're right on point with where he wants you to be. And many people end up being depressed, being stressed, feeling like things are not moving fast enough for them. Things are not, going, and, they thought they would be on the move and doing this and that. But really what you find yourself doing is comparing yourself to other people on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and social media. When other people are posting little fragments and pieces of their life, the best parts, then we say, this is where I should be. I should have this amount of fans or this amount of clients or whatever. But, he gives us grace and he increases us little by little according to our ability to be stewards, good stewards of what he has given us. And the lessons are always in the process, right? And sometimes promotion and graduation means that there would be extraction. And sometimes he will take things away from us so that we can be promoted properly. Sometimes he'll take things away from us so that we can become specialized and become specialists. Or he's customizing the people that would pull from us. In other words, some people are just along the crowd. They're the crowd. They're along for the hype. But when he graduates you, when he begins to move you into a greater dimension of clarity of who you are, a lot of times he will cut away and chisel out the fat so that what remains is substantive, right? So a lot of times he'll take away so that he can build on something that's solid. And that's not just positive talk to encourage people for not, having a greater platform. Because there are some people who've gone through the work and they deserve to flow in a greater dimension and in a great platform. But many people, they increase to a degree where they don't have structural integrity. They don't have the built-in edification to hold up everything that's on their plate. and so they begin to crush under pressure. So a lot of times what he does is he wants to make sure that everything that we're holding up is something that we're supposed to hold up. Everything that we're carrying, every burden that we have is a burden we're supposed to carry. He said, look, my burden is easy, my yoke is light. When you're operating in your ministry, when you're operating in your grace, when you're operating in you and what I've given you and not what other people have, even though it's a lot, you will have the grace to carry it, and you'll be able to carry it with grace. It will not be burdensome, though it's a lot. Though it would crush somebody else, it won't crush you because you were built for it. So that's what the Lord is saying. So grace and peace. I talk to you. Shalom.